Next, luckily, people really like to do this. You know, we have a lot of things that are good for us that are not so appealing. You know, that fish oil business is just, there's no way to make it good. You know, it's like there just is not. And maybe some of the people here can get good about their interval training, but myself, the high end of the interval training is very difficult for me. The only part I like is the low end. But here, you've got people who rave about this programming. You know, just as Kathleen said, it's pretty damn hard to get ornery New Yorkers to agree about anything at a 98% level. Well, it's pretty unusual for me to spend as much time as I spent, and my staff spent, and my students spent, in programs for older adults without getting quite a bit of kvetching going on. And we had kvetching going on, believe me, but not about the arts programming. About the arts programming, we had joy. Truly joy. There was unjoy when it was ending. Some people were disappointed. They didn't know about it. They didn't know it was in other places. They didn't know the range of options. We're going to come to that. But about the programming that they were doing, we had joy. People like to be challenged. People like to do something they couldn't imagine that they could do. They like it even better when they succeed and when there's an audience available to see them reach beyond the boundaries that they thought they had. So now we start turning the corner a little bit toward the recommendations that everyone was so gracious in saying they knew were going to come. So here's what's true. I'm not going to recite a lot of nerdy recommendations because we've got them on the website and I know you all want to read them. But I am going to hold a light up to two big ideas about the recommendations. The first one is that it just doesn't go without saying to put programming into less resourced centers and communities with the same amount of support and expect people to work it out. It's simply more difficult, and more support and more training and maybe more resources, and maybe some loosening of some of the rules so that there can be some shared facilities and some shared opportunities are required. Because it's not right when we go visit some centers and they have rooms, art rooms, like when you were in elementary school. I hope you had this elementary school where there was an art room and you could go and it just felt like possibility. It felt like the shelves were stacked with things to do. Every table had great machines that you could mash your finger in and be better than you ever were before, right? And some centers have rooms like that. And other centers have a piano that is stuck behind the men's room door by the cleaning bucket so that some of the people are smelling a bad smell and can't participate in the music class, which gets cut short because it's the all-purpose room and they have to move the lunch in and it's really the only room doing anything. And right across the street is a church that's sitting empty then, and there's an organ and a piano and a space to be. And we, I hope, can design a program that will help that center, that teaching artist, that Borough Arts Council, that church, all come together to make the singing program as wonderful for those older adults as the singing program is in the one where we go in and there's a piano for everybody, because that's how it should be. There should be a piano for everybody. So, in some places, older adults couldn't find enough hours in the day for all the programming that they wanted to take. And in other places, arts programming sort of turned up like a bonus. Occasionally, for a month or two, they didn't know from whence or why or how or when it would be there again. And that's not enough opportunity in that second instance. It should always be like it is in that first instance, and that's our next task, is to be sure that everyone can have what anyone has.